Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a declutter. So these are products that I am getting rid of, and I wanted to kind of show you each product and why I'm getting rid of it. Some of these other people love, some of these I think could work for other people. They're just not my personal preference, but either way, they are either going in the trash or they're going to be given away. So if you want to see the products that are just not living up to the standard, then just keep on watching. All right, let's start with a controversial one. The first one is the Covergirl Clean Fresh Skincare Priming Glow Mist. So I've used this several times before, and I understand how people can love this. The mist is incredible. It does feel really hydrating. There's definitely a lot of pros to this if you're looking for a hydrating priming mist. But for me, when it comes to fragrance, some really bother me and then others don't at all. It depends on what the fragrance is, and it depends on how strong it is. And with this one, I just can't get past it. If I can just smell it as I'm putting it on and then it kind of goes away, I can live with that. With this one, if I spray this on my face and then wear it throughout the day, I can smell it all day. As much as I like the product and the mister, the actual fragrance is enough to make me pass on this product, but I will definitely be giving this to someone. All right, next up is a primer. This is new from Revlon. This is the Revlon Grip 16-Hour Matte Primer. This has a superfood detox blend. It's meant to make you matte for 16 hours. It has just sort of a squeeze tube applicator. And the product itself is kind of like a gel silicone-y texture. But with my experience with this product is it feels quite oily to the touch. Like it kind of feels greasy on my already oily T-zone. So I felt like this almost exacerbated the problem rather than fixing the problem. Like right now, it feels like I need to wipe this off. Like it feels so greasy. I do think it does a good job of blurring the pores, but mattifying, not so much. All right, next up, I have 3 different foundations that just did not work for me. And some of these other people love. So if you love these products, that's great. But for me personally, and for anyone who has similar preferences and skin type to me, I would say just steer clear of these altogether. And the first one is the Revlon Colorstay Light Cover Foundation. I was really intrigued by this because it's supposed to be a matte foundation that's really lightweight, that's really wearable for an everyday look. Because a lot of the times when you see the lightweight kind of BB cream tinted moisturizer, they're really hydrating in nature. So I get questions a lot about what's a good oily skin product for light coverage, no makeup days, because the matte foundations tend to be the full coverage foundation. So this was like a happy medium. This, when I tell you, this looked so bad on my skin. It was like dry patches that I didn't even know existed all of a sudden appeared on my face. It has, again, a squeeze tube applicator, and it is really light in texture. It does feel really lightweight, but if you have anything for this to cling to, it will cling to that. I don't know if you guys can see, even on my hand right now, it just looks super textured. So as much as I like the concept, I just find it wildly unflattering. All right, next up is another product with very similar claims, and it's the Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Matte Edition. This claims to blur pores, mattify, conceal blemishes, and even out skin tone with a light matte coverage. This is basically the alternative to their Maybelline 4-in-1, the one that's the dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter that comes in the sponge applicator. This is supposed to be the matte version of that. Again, excited to see a product that's matte, that's supposed to be light coverage when we usually see really hydrating, glowy products in this category of makeup. But this is a thick, moussey texture. And again, if you have anything you want to hide on your face in terms of texture, this just highlights that. I feel like some matte foundations can make your skin look really airbrushed, and some can make them look like pure cake, and I feel like this falls into the latter category, unfortunately. That said, I do really like the counterpart to this product, the glowy 4-in-1, either an all-over kind of glowy primer product or as a highlighter. Okay, next up is the, I don't even know if this is still out, but I have hardly used any product since I tested this. Actually, it's full. This is the Physicians Formula Natural Defense Protect Your Prime Oil Sunscreen. So this has an SPF of, a chemical SPF of 15. It's supposed to be like a primer that you wear under your makeup in the form of an oil that also protects your skin. Granted, I personally don't find 15 to be enough SPF, but I guess something's better than nothing. It does go on really, really nicely, really smoothly. It feels like an oil, so this would be good for drier skin. But again, with this one, it's the smell. The smell, it just gets me every time. It smells pretty strongly. If I do apply oils, I apply them at night when I'm gonna go to sleep, but not under my makeup to wear all day. I also tend to really like water-based foundations, and if you mix a water-based foundation with an oil-based primer, it's You always hear the saying, oil and water don't mix. So for all of those reasons, I'm gonna be passing this one along. Next up is the Colourpop No Filter Foundation. This one, I don't dislike this one as much as I dislike the other two, the Revlon and the Maybelline ones I just talked about. This one is like, it's a fine foundation. It has pretty decent coverage. This, I don't have super strong feelings about this one like I do the other two. It's just not one of my favorites. It's not one that I reach for, and I feel like right now at the drugstore, unless you are killing it, unless you are innovative and so incredible, you're just not gonna stand out. It's not like it was 5-6 years ago where a good foundation was so hard to find, a good primer was hard to find. Now there is so much competition and there's such high standards and high quality at the drugstore that unless you blow my mind, sorry, it's a pass for me. And this falls into that category. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it, and I have too many other foundations that I love. And I feel like rather than completely repeating myself, I would say ditto to this product. This is the Covergirl Outlast Extremewear Concealer. There's nothing I hate about this concealer. It says it's full coverage, it's not full coverage. It's like a solid medium coverage, but it's just not as good as other concealers that I have right now. I would say definitely go with this Simply Ageless concealer over this one. I find it to be a lot more flattering. This has vitamin C, niacinamide, a hyaluronic complex, whereas this one's just like a fine concealer. And like I said, fine concealers just don't cut it anymore. All right, next up we've got some cheek products. Starting with I can't believe I'm saying this, starting with a Milani Blush. This is in the shade Sunrise Senorita. And as much as I really love these baked blushes by Milani, this one's really just a color thing. Like I do love this formula, but this shade is just not at all flattering on my skin tone. I feel like maybe if you have a deeper skin tone, this would be more flattering on you, but it looks just fully orange on my cheeks. And not in like a terracotta way, just like in a fully orange way. It also has a sheen to it, so it just honestly looks tacky on my skin. And that, again, is not a formula issue, it's a shade skin tone issue. So that one's on me. And then this one falls under the same category. Again, I really like this formula, but I picked the wrong shades. This is the Wet n Wild Be Mine Honey. This is a really beautiful product, but the shade that I chose just wasn't right for my skin tone. This first highlighter is too dark for me, and the second one is too yellow for me. Like all three of these are really cool colors if you like these types of shades. They're just not my personal taste. So again, beautiful formula. I'll probably go get this exact highlighter palette in a different shade option. I'm passing these shades along. All right, this next one is not just a shade issue. This is, for me, a formula issue. You guys know I am a Flower Beauty lover. I am a Flower Beauty highlighter lover. In the video that I did where I said what product does each drugstore brand do best for Flower Beauty, I said highlighter. And I stand by that with the exception of this highlighter. This is the Stellar Prismatic Highlighter in the shade Solstice. This is just not a very flattering formula in my opinion. It's very chunky. You can feel the flecks of glitter in here, and it's very chalky. So even if you're a person that likes the glitter, that likes the va-va-voom, I just feel like this actual formula is way too chalky and there's fallout. It's too much for me. It looks like you're putting glitter on your cheeks and not like a finely milled cool glitter, like a bought it from Hobby Lobby type of glitter. So as much as I love Flower Beauty highlighters, I love their liquid spotlight, I love their powder spotlight, I love their Day Glow balmy highlighter, this is just, it's not it. Oh my gosh, an eagle just landed on my neighbors across the street house. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful and so big. I have to take a picture. All right, the next category, and probably the largest category of everything we're gonna talk through, is mascara. We are leaving no prisoners. I'm getting rid of a lot of mascaras, so let's go through these rapid fire. Starting with the tubing mascaras. So you guys know I did a big tubing mascara video. I tested a bunch of different tubing mascaras, and in that process, I found a lot of duds, but we are gonna be getting rid of them now. All right, let's start with the easiest one to get rid of. This is the Bye Bye Panda Eye by Essence. When I tell you, the name is so ironic to me because the best way I can describe how I looked after a day of wearing this was that I had panda eyes. I probably had the worst smudging with this one. Some of them flaked on me, which means there was like little black specks. But then this one smudged on me, which means like the actual black transferred up here and down here and made it look like a panda eye. It's a no for me. It's a pass for me. I'm not even gonna be passing this along because I don't want to do that to someone else. Next up is one that was a double offender, both smudged and flaked on me. And it's one that was so highly recommended to me, so maybe this is just a dud version of this, but the one that I have did not work for me. It's the L'Oreal Double Extend Tubing Mascara. So this has a primer on one side, and then it has the actual mascara on the other side. So this went on really nicely. I mean, it went on like a nice mascara. I was really excited about it. I loved that it had a primer in it, but I did an update when I was wearing this on Instagram when I was playing with my kids, and I went to do like a check-in, and I opened up my camera to see like the selfie version to talk on my stories, and I was like fully underneath my eye was black, and then there was little flakes just all right here. This just did not do what I needed it to do as a tubing mascara. Even though it looked nice when I first applied it, it just did not last for me. All right, next up was the Maybelline Snap Scara. This one I would say was the least promising when I first put it on. When I first put it on, I was like, okay, maybe I will continue to use this if this doesn't budge, it doesn't flake all day, but it didn't give my lashes any sort of va-va boom. There wasn't a whole lot of volume. It just kind of looked blah. But I was gonna make that sacrifice if it stayed on all day, maybe use it as a layering mascara to lock in other mascaras. But this not only didn't look great when I first applied, but did not last on me either. Next up is one that's not technically labeled as a tubing mascara, although most of them are not, but this is the No. 7 Lash Extender Infinite Length and Volume. It says on the packaging that it coats the lashes from root to tip with no flaking. Usually when they claim no flaking, no smudging, that's your sign that it's trying to be a tubing mascara. So anyway, I judged this as a tubing mascara. It went on super promising. The wand on this is beautiful, and I was ready to love it. It has a nice thick formula. It was really volumizing, but again, by the end of the day, it was Panda Town. All right, so those are all the tubing mascaras I'm getting rid of right now. And the next two are just regular mascaras that are just not favorites, and I have too many others to choose from. Mascaras are something that go bad pretty quickly, so unless I love it, I know I'm not going to end up using it by the time that it expires. The first one is the Wet n Wild Big Papa Mascara. I know some people love this stuff. I like the wand, the hourglass wand. I like the thicker formula, but for me this is on the clumpier side, and it doesn't build the volume like I like to build it, because you can't layer it as easily as you can with other volumizing mascaras such as Covergirl Exhibitionist or Milani Anti-Gravity. This one is almost too thick of a formula. And then last mascara is the Essence Double Trouble, both the waterproof and the regular version. I'm so used to loving Essence mascaras, and I think this concept is really cool because it has kind of a bristled wand on one side and then a rubber kind of synthetic wand on the other side, so you have the best of both worlds. But this just didn't give my lashes any sort of oomph, and we've got to have some oomph with our lashes. All right, we've got 3 more products to get rid of, and I feel like there's a lot more where this came from if you want to see more of these decluttering videos. But the first is the L'Oreal Glow Paradise Cream Blush or Liquid Blush. I don't know why it's taken me this long to get rid of this. This formula is just really, really sheer, but it's also very dewy. So it's one thing for a formula to be sheer and really lightweight. So if you want to build it up, you can build it up. But with this one, if you build it up, it sort of feels like you can feel it sitting on your cheek, and it's not very long lasting. I feel like if I'm looking for a liquid blush, I'm definitely reaching for Flower Beauty, reaching for Milani, way over this one. So it just doesn't have a place in my makeup collection anymore. And next up is a highlighter from Undone Beauty. This is their water highlighter. I find this to be kind of difficult to blend. So it's an interesting, like really cooling formula. It's a pretty color, but I find when I blend it, it almost just disappears. So maybe for someone that wants a very, very light, hardly noticeable highlighter, this might be a good option, but I also feel like it doesn't apply well to a face with foundation already on. This will rub off your foundation pretty easily. Who I think this could work for is someone that does not wear makeup, or when I say makeup, they do not wear foundation or base product, and they could just go straight in with this on their cheek and blend it out without worrying about it messing up their base makeup, and it would look really natural and lightweight. And then last but not least is the Revlon 24-Hour Setting Mist. This is in the same collection as that primer, and I don't know what happened with my mister, but the mister on this, it like sprays in this little trickle. I don't know if maybe my pump is broken or something went wrong with this, but the actual mister on this is not good. And I really just don't find a huge difference on the staying power of my makeup. It just kind of feels like an unnecessary step that's not actually helping. I will be reaching for my Milani over this one every time. And that is everything. Those are all the products I'm gonna be decluttering. Let me know if any of you are deeply offended by any of these picks. Maybe these are some of your favorite products. But as always, these are just products that didn't work for me personally. Everyone's skin and preferences are different, but hopefully this was helpful so you know what products that I don't necessarily recommend, as well as the products that I do love. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys in my next one.